I got some weird ones for you this week. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. It's the weekend. That means we got new metal albums to talk about, and I'm bringing you my top 5. But before we jump into the top 5, I always mention the big album releases from the major ones, so let's do that real quick. This weekend we get a new album from Apocalyptica called Apocalyptica Plays Metallica Volume 2. I just love the career of this Finnish band. You know, they got their start, their claim to fame from playing cello covers of Metallica songs, and when that launched them to fame, they used that to do all kinds of other cool projects besides just Metallica covers. You know, they've done classical stuff, they've done radio rock, and now they're returning to their roots with some covers and some reinterpretations of these Metallica songs, including guest appearances from members of Metallica. Really cool. And there's a new record from Immortal Disfigurement called King, Symphonic Deathcore out of Pennsylvania. And, you know, the knee-jerk thing to do is to make comparisons to Lorna Shore, but this is former Lorna Shore members, so... And lastly, before we do the top 5, there's a new record from Candy called It's Inside You. This is hardcore with drum and bass stuff in it. Pretty interesting mix here. And then a lot of the songs are about love too. Pretty interesting and weird. And I like that weird novelty. Check it out. All right, top 5 time. And coming in at number 5 is Mithraeum. This is black metal out of San Diego. Pretty sure I mispronounced that text on the screen just in case, and as always, every band's Bandcamp will be linked in the description so that you can find these records and support these bands. I got my hands on this one early. Y'all know what that means. My written reviews already published in Metal Digest, so let me once again point you to the description for links to all my writings. And what I wrote about this one is it's black metal for music nerds. As a music nerd, I mean that as a big compliment. And I'm not just saying that because they're playing technical. I'm not just impressed by the speedy arpeggios. No, I'm impressed with the composition and the arrangement. This one sounds like symphonic black metal without having a symphony. And that's because of the way that the guitars are composed and the layers in the production. But it's not just about nerding out. The black metal part of it is ferocious as well. Check it out. Coming in at number 4, Norath. The Sacrificial Solace. What I wrote in my review for this one is I get strong bolt thrower vibes from the riffs here, but instead of being obsessed about war like Bolt Thrower was, this sounds to me like Norath came out of some fetid swamp somewhere where there's mystical serpents and human sacrifice. I just wonder when I'm listening to this, if it was me being tortured on the rack, would I be insulted? Or would I be honored to see Norath up there circle banging on the dais while I'm being ripped to pieces? Coming in at number 3, Hippotractor with Stasis, prog metal out of Belgium. Strong Tesseract vibes here, but also this is a cool storytelling album, telling the story of this human entities. I don't know where they came from, but they're witnessing human good and evil for the first time, and their reactions to seeing those two very different aspects of our nature. So if you're into thinking person's real heady prog with some genty headbanging to go along with it, check this one out. Coming in at number 2, and I'm gonna need your help with this one. Is it DVRK or is it the V is like in black metal and it's really a U? Is it Dirk with Infinite Reminiscence? And it's the reason why I'm questioning it is because it's not black metal. It's electronic deathcore out of France. And, you know, when I say any of the core genres, metalcore, deathcore, whatever, has electronics in it, then metalheads will get this baggage in their mind that they're trying to be radio friendly. Not these guys. This electronic, it just makes it sound more evil. It's like really harsh drum and bass. It's for the vibes only. It's full on screaming and headbanging the whole time. Check it out. And hey, before we do number 1, let me tell you about this collaboration I did with the artist Nocturno, who I met on Instagram. We've been working together this week and he provided me with some killer art. So we're dropping the Heavy Metal Philosophy Summer Collection on the merch store. Check it out. Nocturno's art on this cool t-shirt or tank top that will help you stay cool during the summer, because if you're like me and you live in the South, we don't get to wear long sleeves and hoodies during this time of year. We need to stay cool. So I'm also dropping some shorts and some slides with the Heavy Metal Philosophy logo, a summer hat, but in particular, we're featuring the Nocturno collab, the Summer Brew t-shirt and tank top, and these will only be available during the summer. From right now until September, it's the only time you can get the Nocturno Heavy Metal Philosophy collab Summer Brew merchandise. johnbarbas-shop.fourthwall.com. Links in the description. Thank you so much. Now let's do number one. Coming in at number one, is it any surprise? Umbra Vitae, Light of Death, death metal out of Boston. I'm just so thrilled with this record because it's strange. It's barely death metal. It's death metal because it's all and the riffs and everything, but the riffs are odd. And, you know, the choruses are borderline emotional, even though it's still screaming the whole time. The drums are groovy. The arrangements are all over the place. This is definitely a unique one amongst all the death metal albums of this year, and I imagine it's going to be on several people's album of the year list, possibly even mine. I love it that much. We're not done yet, because we still got Dealer's Choice and the Album Art of the Week to talk about. For my Dealer's Choice this week, I had a really weird one hit my inbox. It's from the band Insect Arc, and the name of the record is Raw Blood Singing. This is avant-garde / experimental cinematic doom music. Sure, it's strange, and that's why I have a hard time classifying it, but it's haunting and emotional. To me, it sounds like the soundtrack of somebody doing a paranormal investigation into the creation of reality, and it kind of has like a murdery vibe. Like, is it possible that our creation myth is a murder mystery? That's the kind of stuff that goes through my mind when I'm listening to this. This is definitely one where you want to sit close to your turntable with big headphones that cover your ears, and then you will get zero sensation from the outside world as you listen to this ethereal vibe of a record. Check it out. My favorite album art this week comes from Severe Torture, torn from the jaws of death, brutal death metal out of the Netherlands. And check this art out. You know, I try to avoid picking the more obviously metal album covers for this segment. You know, I always want to pick something a little different, but this one, I just love this one. I like the oil painting, I like the color scheme, I like the dark background. I like the way that the skeleton is kind of hunched over, but it's not a full-on skeleton. There's still a little bit of meat left on this skeleton, which makes me think that it was just recently killed, and you can kind of see the emotion on his or her body language, all hunched over like, damn, I just died, this sucks. And the music is awesome too. This brutal death metal has a lot of melody, and when I say that brutal death metal is melodic, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, that means there's clean singing and it's soft at times. No clean singing, not soft at all. I'm just saying the guitars have a lot of melody, and I really enjoyed this record. I really enjoy this album art. But one thing I didn't enjoy this week is the CEO of Spotify tweeted that the cost of creating content, quote, content, is close to zero, and that of course annoyed me. And then he went on to, you know, bring in stoicism into it, and that really annoyed the philosopher in me. But I didn't just make a podcast about being annoyed and how my feelings are hurt. No. I brought in a special guest to illuminate what it really costs to make content. So if you want to catch that podcast, just click right here. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.